Yeah, no, we're at red. All right.
Yeah, in India they made the first degrees in the flag holding.
We are not allowed to show them in front of children, so that's what we are here for.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, this is perversion and it can't be taught to children. If you'd get the host, we'd like to speak with him.
well, I'm the host.
Oh, you are the host.
But if you'd like, I can get my manager.
That would be fine.
All right, great.
Hi, kids.
So what's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and so the fearless, tattooed, macho, paramilitary Proud Boys bravely took on the kids at Rainbow Storytime. They must have really needed to gird their loins and summon courage to stare 5-year-old children in the eyes and tell them how much that they hated them. These domestic terrorists proceeded to break in and unfurl their ridiculous flag as if they just stepped off the Queen Anne's Revenge, staring down their 4-foot-tall little enemies.
Where's the school teacher that's supposed to be presenting this reading?
It is me, a librarian,
Why would you do this?
because it's Pride Month.
Who gives us?
Why does that mean you can instill this
You
in
should know
little
better.
children's minds? What gives you the right to give them question of sexuality at such a young age?
Those were little girls.
Right. Well, but honestly, what gives you the right to introduce sexuality to children?
Wouldn't their parents be here?
Doesn't matter. What still
Well,
gives you the
even-
right?
Even if their parents are
Not
here.
only-
Not for
You're saying
children,
their
but
parents
why?
don't have a right.
No, they don't.
I
They don't
think-
have the right to plant seed of doubt about one's own personal body. God gave you that body. You don't have the right to make a child question that ability.
What you want to do in
But
your own
yeah,
home is up
but
to
you do what but you can't
Okay.
force this
So
on
then
children.
why, if I wanted my child to know, couldn't I bring them here so they
No,
could
because,
explore?
no,
because
this
this
is
is
not
public.
the forum for that.
This isn't a public
So the
time.
not the
library is
forum.
not
No.
a place to learn
Sexuality
anything.
is not a place for the library.
It's a personal issue.
This is a
Again,
public
it's a
library. This is
personal
children
issue
don't come here to
because
learn
I
about
can bring my
sexuality
child
and to question their man or female.
No doubt their kindergarten-age adversaries were by far their intellectual superior, but the Proud Boys held firm when they proclaimed, "You're grooming these children's minds. This is our region, and we'll not have that in our region." They knew then, by the aid of their beer guts and Let's Go Brandon t-shirts, that they have prevailed in intimidation over the ruthless, innocent children and librarians they so bravely opposed.
But what gives you the right to push a sexual question on a
Sir,
child?
once again,
I'm asking a question and I'm gonna ask a question.
gonna have
I'm not
to
gonna
ask you
leave.
that
This is a public facility.
Storytime hasn't started yet. We're not.
We're not-
interrupting.
story
We're
time
just
hasn't
having
even started, ma'am.
conversation
If you're
with the
causing a
director before
disruption,
story
Well,
time starts.
I'm
and
not.
that's
I'm
part
asking
of
a
a
question.
political
You're
What
grooming
right do
these
you
children's
have to
minds.
teach these children about sexuality?
We're just asking questions before story time starts. We're getting information.
You guys are grooming children's minds sexually. Yes, you are. We're supposed to teach our children to love themselves as themselves, that they don't need to change.
We pay taxes. This is our region, and we will not have that happen here in our area.
Now just sit back a second and let that sink in. Obviously there has been some grooming of minds going on, but I'd pin that assessment on the jackasses who storm and raid a children's story time to play a perverted, diluted version of make-believe, pretending they're all Captain America. The only problem is Captain America has a brain, integrity, and work ethic, and isn't an entitled pansy who has to harass kids to make himself feel like a man.
That post up about him confusing
But
children.
if you were straight, why are you arguing? Why are you defending that
This
they're
guy brags
reducing-
about
Because I
confusing
have
children
people
in
who
second
I
grade
care
of their
about
gender.
who are
brags about
not
it.
straight,
Okay.
who are
brags
really
about
good human beings.
I
That's
don't
not
doubt that
even
one
the
bit.
question. You're
And I
just
have
still
friends that are
confusing
also
gender.
gay.
A simple
what you're
thing.
saying is
But they
you
don't-
gentlemen-
you don't have the
you
right to
gentlemen
push it
have
on
people
children.
who you know
This is-
who are not
Hey,
straight.
children
We're not
have
gonna
rights about
stand.
sexuality.
Good
There's-
people,
Yeah,
but
this is
you
a person-
think they don't
Hey,
have a
children
right
should not
to
be
teach
brought
their
to
children.
places.
Not
that
others.
These domestic terrorists couldn't possibly be more revolting. They claim they're fighting for America, and nothing could be further from the truth. They think they're tough guys, but really they're a bunch of spineless, entitled do-nothings whose only growth as a human being is reflected in their ever-expanding waistlines. And they think that they're the ones to dictate what's best for society, which again not only flies in the face of the entire premise of America, but is laughable given their collective IQ registers in the single digits.
Here is
And they were
very
in this.
valid.
They were in this room when we showed up.
It was purposely
They
done.
were
You see the
in
work
this room when we showed up. And she didn't.
I'm gonna get her
phone
name
did not even
before
know.
I'm
ready for story.
Well, the police.
Get a life, you treasonous maggots. Start adding a little something to society instead of being a worthless leech before you come to the table with your whiny baby complaints. And if you want to affect change, then do it like a man. Work, organize, write legislation, debate. But no, you have no argument. Yours is simply a hate agenda. Society's not going to go along with your toxic, warped hate ideology. Targeting children and demonizing people for their private lives isn't a very popular platform. So you've got to try to harass people to conform to your little pea-brained fairy tales. And here's the thing. These morons don't have a clue what they really want. They want to make LGBTQ people illegal. Aren't you imbeciles supposed to be anti-government? But yet you want Rainbow Storytime to be shut down by your tangerine tyrant. Big Brother comes to save the poor little oppressed Proud Boys. No, these morons have no idea why they hate. They just hate. Because the right-wing media owns them. They've had their buttons pushed to the point where their simplistic minds are no longer their own. They're Donald Trump's wind-up toys. He winds them up and they go where guided until their Lord releases them or death takes them. And for what? Killing America? To get back at these dreaded minorities who've beat them at every single turn in their miserable lives? Well, step back and take a look at the big picture, you morons. You're killing this country that gave you that fat gut and the time off to play drill sergeant when you should have been working for a living. And chances are the minority's beating you because they're actually contributing members of society, not a bunch of programmed, useless saps who are killing our country and spoiling it for all the decent people, the working people, the innocent kids. Let that simple fact sink in. These are who the Proud Boys are targeting, children. And they are void of honor, courage, integrity, manhood, and any patriotism whatsoever. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.